Hey, what's up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about and answer a couple questions for you. Question number one is, how quickly can you get a deal under contract in the overage and surplus funds business? Question number two I want to go over is, how many hours do you usually have to spend in order to get a deal on average? So let's answer question number one first. How quickly can you get a deal? Now, obviously, it's going to depend on the person, right? It's going to depend on how dedicated you are, how knowledgeable you are, how quickly you can find someone and get in contact with them. There's a lot of variables, right? But let's use a real life example. I've had several students that have gotten deals in less than 30 days after taking my course. Here's a real life example that happened today. Today's Saturday. This morning I was doing some research. I was building some lists and building out some lead lists because I like to build my lists. And there are a couple leads that I was like, they weren't ones that I personally go after myself, but they were worth giving some attention to. And so what I decided to do was run a little, basically just do a little experiment and give out these leads to some of my joint venture partners that are in my Facebook groups that I have, that are open to my students, okay? So I posted a couple leads in there, and they weren't complete. They were just, it was the name, the overage amount, a parcel number, and that was pretty much it. So I posted those two leads about 2 hours ago in my Facebook group for my students. About 20 minutes ago, I get an email from one of my student and my joint venture partners. And she says, "Hey, Nick, I saw the leads that you posted in the group. I was able to find the one lady. It looks like they're divorced, but they're on speaking terms. She wants to move forward. She's going to see if she can get her ex-husband on board as well. Here is her mailing address to send the paperwork to." So that's what we did. I've got some paperwork right here that I'm going to go to the post office now and send out a fee agreement for this new client, potential new client, because they haven't signed yet. So, but going back to the question, how quickly can you get a deal? Well, if you remember the overage profitability formula, there's 5 steps, right? Create your leads. 1, conduct research. 2, contact your leads. 3, 4, contract your leads. 5, process claims. So in the last 2 hours, between me and one of my partners, we completed steps 1 through 3. I created a lead. I sent that lead out. One of my joint venture partners conducted research, and then she contacted the lead. The lead said, "Yes, send me the paperwork. I want to move forward." So we have 2 hours into this deal. Let's say it takes us another, a couple hours going back and forth, getting I have to go to the post office now. Then I'm going to have to, once I receive it, I'm going to have to submit it to the attorney. The attorney's going to have to do some stuff. And then let's say we file it. Let's say we still need to do 5 hours into this deal. And we have 2 hours in, so 7 hours total. So I kind of answered both those questions just now, if you didn't catch that. Number one, how long did it take us to get this deal? 2 hours. 2 hours to find the lead, conduct the research, and to contact the lead. 2 hours. And now we're sending the paperwork for the client to sign. So how fast can you get a deal? Pretty fast. Let's just call it, if, once they sign and it sounds like they're on board, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Let's just say we're in at 3 hours. So it takes us 3 hours to get a deal. That's how quickly this can move. That's how quickly you can get your pipeline filled, is a matter of hours. Now, are all cases like this? No. But let's be conservative. Let's say it takes you, you're brand new, takes you 2 hours to create your lead list. After that, takes you 2 to 4 hours, let's say 4 hours, to conduct your research and your skip tracing. So now we're at 6 hours, and let's say it takes you, I don't know, 8 more hours. 8 more hours of work to call all your numbers and actually get a person to say yes. 8 hours of calling. So you're into it 14 hours now. Then you finally have someone that says yes, send you paperwork, you send it out, they sign it, get it back to you. Let's say it takes you another couple hours to get everything to the attorney and get it submitted. Just for math's sakes, let's just say you have another 6 hours. So 14 plus 6, a total of 20 hours into one deal. This deal right here, this is a $17,000 overage. Okay, so it's not huge, but still a good amount. $17,000. Let's say they sign up at 30%, which is my average commission. 17, I'm not good at math, guys, but 1,700, let's see, 17,000 times 30%, that's at least $5,000. At least $5,000. So now the question is, let's say this deal took us 20 hours. Would you work 20 hours to get 5,000 back? Personally, I think that's a pretty decent return. And that's to answer the second question, what's the average time it takes to do a deal? I would say for me, 10 to 20 hours. For a beginner, it's going to take a little more, maybe 20 to 40. Would you work 40 hours to get $5,000 back? So let's say you work 40 hours a week to get 5,000. Would you do that? That's pretty good money, guys, if you figure it out. I mean, I don't know what the hourly rate is, but 5,000 divided by 40, I don't know what that is, but I think that's a pretty high hourly wage. So again, just to recap, how quickly can you get a deal? Well, today, it looks like we've got a deal with about 2 hours of work, 2 to 3. May take you more. What's the average time it takes to get one deal? For me, it's 10 to 20 hours. For you, if you're just getting started, it's probably going to take 20 to 40 hours per deal until you get better and your skills improve. And so when you're figuring out if a deal is worth it, just say, okay, if I close this deal at 30% or 40 or 20 or whatever the commission is, and if I profit this much, is that worth 40 hours of work? Or is that worth 30 hours of work? And use that as a guideline to help you determine which cases to work, and also to help you, know what percentage you need to close at, okay? So I hope that helps you guys. Hope that answers the question of how quick can you get a deal and what's the average time spent per deal. I think I answered both those questions. If I wasn't clear on those, let me know below. You can question below and I'll get back to you. But hopefully that clears up some things and clears up those 2 questions. And that's all I have for you today. Get out there and get some deals done. Thanks, guys.